All right, joining us this morning, we have with us Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero. Senate President Escudero, magandang umaga po sa inyo, sir.
Karen, magandang umaga sa iyo, sa ating mga televiewers at taga-subaybay. Magandang umaga din po. Good morning.
Bago natin pag-usapan yung kaganapan sa Senado and your re-election as Senate President, let's talk about the President's SONA. Etong standing ovation na sinabi niya, mahiya kayo, right? Which is asking the DPWH to submit a list of flood control projects. We'll go through that. And in the end, addressing Congress, both the lower house in the Senate, that he will return a budget that is not fully aligned to the executives. Natamaan po ba kayo doon?
I didn't feel alluded to, Karen, because you have to remember, there is no one in the Senate who is a contractor or supplier and at the same time a member of the upper chamber. I don't think I can say, or we can say the same for the House of Representatives. Number two, Karen, yung sinabi niyang not aligned, while I agree that the administration has the prerogative to pursue its proposed budget, under the Constitution, the power of the purse still belongs to Congress. Hindi naman po pwede na lahat ng isusumite ng executive ay gano'n na lamang, automatic, parang rubber stamp ang Kongreso. If the House is willing to do that and it seems to be afraid to do that, then that's their call. But on the part of the Senate, we will review the budget and we will propose amendments that need to be proposed in accordance with the inputs being given to us as well. Kaya nga panawagan ko, Karen, kung ayaw nilang baguhin, ayon sa narinig kong interview ni Secretary Pagandaman, yung budget daw masyado, pues kausapin nila yung mga sekretary nila, doon tayo magsimula. Na wag nang maglabi sa Kongreso kaugnay sa mga pagbabago o dagdag pa na budget para sa kanilang mga departamento upang sa gayon input na lamang kung sakasakali ng Kamara at Senado ang pag-uusapan.
Okay. Now, Senator, you talked about the agencies lobbying for an amendment in their budget. But let's start with this. You have Senator Lacson and Senator Soto describing the 2025 budget as scandalous. Yun ang ginamit with the last-minute insertions. These amendments, they say, have never ran into the billions in the past. Yun muna ang pag-usapan natin na erroneous, scandalous. Ito po ang inilarawan nila sa 2025 budget.
Karen, they were not part of the 2025 budget. And I can point out probably that the 2025 budget was one of the more transparent budgets. That's why there are so many people commenting on it. The very first time, Karen, that lump sum appropriations were removed from the budget was when I was Finance Committee Chairman. Dun unang tinanggal yun dahil sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema kontra sa pork barrel. Kasi 'di ba pag lump sum, pagkatapos ma-approve ng budget, doon pa lamang bibigay yung listahan. That was the very first budget compliant with the Supreme Court decision that issued a line item budget. Mula noon, line item na hanggang ngayon. Ang mga panukalang proyekto ng kada departamento, wala na yung dating mga lump sum na halimbawa, 100 bilyon, X project. Halo-halo na yun. Wala nang ganun. In fact, even the school building program that used to be lump sum, for the first time was included in the budget via a line item para makita at masuri. Hanggang ngayon, ganun pa rin yun, Karen. Kaya mga lumalabas ditong mga akusasyon, mga aligasyon, lahat yun ay dahil sa line item budgeting na pinatupad nung sinimulan ko yan ng finance chairman ako.
Okay. So, pinatupad niyo po yun, pero ang sinabi ng ilang kritiko, and I'm sure you've seen the documents, is there's 142 billion that has right to the DPWH, and there are accusations that you introduced these insertions, right, in what they describe as the small BICAM. Binanggit ni Congressman Toby Tiangco na kumbaga yung small BICAM, kayo lang may alam. So, itong 142 billion, where did it come from? Did you and the members of the small BICAM remove it from other agencies, like as they claim the DepEd and the DOH?
Karen, ang tawag dyan, par for the course. Ika nga, dahil sa ingay ng politika, yung mga akusasyon na yan lumalabas. May lumabas pa ang video galing sa CCTV mismo ng
Oo,
camera.
na bumisita
Na nandun
ka
daw ako sa
sa
bike
camera
cam.
twice.
Na totoo naman, alam nga namang hindi ko tingnan yung bycam at asikasuin yung mga staff ng Senado doon, hindi lamang bilang Senate President, pero bilang bahagi din ng bycam. Alam naman natin, Karen, kung saan nanggagaling itong demolition job at PR job na ito, at yan ay sa Kamara. Sa katunayan, madali din namang pangalanan dahil nagsimula ito nung bangayan sa Senate President at siguro alam din nila yung magiging laman ng talumpati ng Pangulo kaya sinusubukang unahan ng Senado. Una, hindi totoo na may 142 billion insertion ako sa 2025 budget.
Oo, sa
Nagsimula muna yun, Karen. Actually, sinabi 9 billion, sinabi si Joel Villanueva, dinamay din.
Oo,
12 billion daw sa
12 billion
Bulacan.
sa Bulacan.
Tapos naging 150 billion, naging 154 billion. Ngayon binaba nila sa 142 nang hindi ko alam kung sinong nagsasabi. But let me be factual, Karen.
Yeah.
The total realignments to the NEP compared to the GA of 2025 is nearly 650 to 700 billion. Assuming they're accusing the Senate of proposing 150 billion in amendments, which, as I said, did not come from me. That's about 2% of the national budget. That's about 1/4 of the total amendments. Why focus on the Senate if you're not trying to disparage the Senate and those amendments? If we will look into the budget, basing it on NEP, then let us study the entirety of the amendments, which is about, Karen, 650 billion, whether it's DPWH, DOH, DepEd, or the AFP. Yun yung halaga ng pagbabago sa budget na pinanungkalan ng Pangulo, both taking from and putting in the budget. Dagdag pa siguro dyan, Karen, yung mga baha natin ngayon, hindi naman dahil sa project ng 2025, dahil yan sa project bago pa nun. Sabi nga ng Executive Secretary, dapat investigahan yung flood control projects maski nung nagdaang Kongreso at nung nakaraang administrasyon. Hindi ito dapat maging witch hunt laban lamang sa mga kagalit na politiko, ika nga, nung mga nasa likod nitong mga demolition at PR job na ito, which
Senator,
I am very open to.
who is behind? I'm curious. Do you know, you claim it's a demolition job. Who is behind the demolition job?
We are trying to identify them, Karen, but I think it's so easy to do a 1+1. It's coming from the House. Yung huling lumabas na naman laban sa akin galing sa CCTV ng House. But let's look at history, Karen. Noong nagka-problema yung budget, may tinanggal ba galing sa Senado? May pinalitan ba galing sa Senado? Hindi ba ang pinatanggal at pinalitan ay ang chairman ng Kamara, ng Appropriations Committee ng Kamara? Dahil ang presidente mismo na pinpoint na ang problema ay nandoon at wala sa Senado at wala sa iba pang lugar.
So you're referring to Congressman Zaldico. This is for the viewers. He was replaced.
Yes, he was replaced. He was replaced, Karen. And I think from that day, they haven't stopped blaming the Senate for whatever happened to them. Ika nga, Karen, your foolishness will catch up with you. Hindi naman namin kasalanan yun. Hindi naman namin desisyon yun. At hindi namin pinapakialaman sino mang mga chairman o pagpapalit ng chairman sa Kongreso.
Okay. So you said, Senator Cheese, that technically the realignments for 2025 amount to roughly 650 to 700 billion pesos.
If you compare the NEP, Karen, with the GA. Yes.
Okay. But what's highlighted that's coming out in the media is the DPWH having a budget of 1.1 to 1.2 trillion pesos. But how did that happen? Bakit lumaki ang budget ng DPWH ng ganon?
Karen, I'm not sure about the exact figures. I think the figure of DPWH was already in that range or region. It was already at 1 trillion, I think.
Parang 800 to 900 billion.
Yeah, parang kulang-kulang 1 trillion na rin yata yon, Karen.
So how did it happen na lumampas po siya ng close to 1.2 trillion.
Karen, lumalampas naman yung budget ng iba't ibang ahensya dun sa pinropose nila. Ang problema, zero-sum game yan. Hindi ka pwede magdagdag kung wala kang babawasan. So bago mo halimbawa dagdagan ng CHED, kailangan may pagkukunan ka. Halimbawa, Karen, I think one of the major amendments I proposed when I first became and returned to the Senate, and I complained, that was on the record. Bakit mas malaki ang budget ng flood control kesa sa budget ng Department of Agriculture? This was in 2022, Karen. In 2023, it was adjusted. Kinunan ng pondo yung flood control program para ilagay sa Department of Agriculture. Ito yung nung bagong upo, si Secretary Kiko Laurel. He was going into it halfway through the game. So these movements are made and these movements are proposed usually in plenary, usually in the committee, Karen. In my case, I proposed that in committee.
Okay, now let's talk about the budget when it comes to flood control plus the other needs of the provinces. There's a chart that's been released, flood control, roads, bridge, buildings, street lights. In 2025, with Bulacan getting 12 billion and Sorsogon getting 9 billion. Do you at least confirm that 9 billion is going to Sorsogon with 1.17 for flood control? Do you at least confirm this figure?
I do not know the figure, Karen. You know, that's an unfair insinuation, Karen. I'll give you an example. That I am from Sorsogon does not mean that I'm responsible for all the projects in Sorsogon. That's even doubly unfair, for example, for Senator Villanueva. That he is from Bulacan does not mean that all of the projects there are his. That insinuation is simply unfair. So you have Senator Lacson from Cavite, Zubiri from Bukidnon. We have our respective provinces. It's an unfair insinuation, which is why I'm laughing at it and saying it's par for the course na ginagamit laban sa amin dahil it's an unfair insinuation na amin lahat ng nandun at kami may kagagawan. Hindi na ba nagtrabaho yung mga congressman sa lugar na yan? Di ba nagtrabaho yung gobernador, yung mayor at sinubukan na magsumite ng mga request diretso sa mga departamento o sa kani-kanilang ahensya ng pamahalaan? So that is unfair to say the least. And again, par for the course, sinasama ko na yan sa ingay ng politika, which I hope will die down after the election of Senate President and Speaker has been well tucked in.
Okay, now, Senator, so para maintindihan ng ating viewers, let's say there was 9 billion in Sorsogon set aside for flood control roads under the DPWH. Are you saying na hindi ikaw ang nag-request ng lahat ng ito? Ganun
Yes,
ba yun,
Karen.
sir?
Yes,
So,
of course.
posibleng yung mayor, yung congressman, ganon.
Ganun naman talaga, Karen. Go around the country anywhere and that is exactly what the mayors, the governors, everyone is doing. Dahil kulang ang pondo palagi ng mga local government unit para dyan. Now, the allegation, Karen, is porkit may allocation ni Nakaw at Binusa, excuse me pa rin. Sorsogon is one of the fastest growing provinces in the country. Our last flooding, bad flooding, where a lot of people died, was way back in 1987. Our most recent flooding was last year, but it was because of a river channel that needed to be dredged. At ang ginastos doon, pondo lamang ng probinsya para i-dredge yung Salog River na hindi na nag-cause ng baha ulit the following year with the same rainfall. So again, these are insinuations, Karen, which I consider par for the course and which you will be more than willing to answer. But nevertheless, understand that in my 27 years in government, kung kailan pa ako tumanda, ngayon pa ako inaakusan ng ganito, and it just doesn't fit. It's not a fit for me, Karen.
So, Senator, just to leave this topic, you said that ang tagal-tagal na hindi binabaha ang Sorsogon, right? If that's the case, why would Sorsogon have 1.1 billion for flood control for 2025?
Karen, again, with the advent of climate change, DPWH has been adapting projects left and right, and I'm not necessarily the one again, Karen, that's an insinuation that is from Sorsogon. So we should ask DPWH. Again, what the president said was, may mga proyektong maanomalya. Sino ba ang unang nakakaalam ng maanomalyang proyekto? Sino bang pumayag and signed off to these projects as well? It would be nice to look at, if at all, of the total flood control budget, ano ba yung allocation ng kada probinsya at lalawigan? For example, the billions of pesos in flood control in Metro Manila. Porkit ba yung mayor doon ay sikat magaling sa kanila lahat yun? Yung mga senador ba taga Maynila, kanila na agad yun? Yung congressman ba? How do you factor that in? And then all of a sudden, in
Because
two
like,
provinces, Karen,
Yeah,
may
go
I
on.
finish, Karen? In
Yeah.
two provinces, only Bulacan and Sorsogon, biglang sa amin yun at kami may-ari nun. Hindi naman tama yun.
Oo. Kasi ang tanong ng ilan, ang daming binabaha sa Metro Manila. For example, nakita naman natin, bakit hindi sila ang malaking budget sa flood control, Senator?
Well, malaki ang budget ng Metro Manila, Karen. Actually, on top of DPWH, also MMDA, may mga foreign assisted projects pa. But Karen, I'm not about to defend the proposals of DPWH. Let them do that. That is for the agency, I guess, to explain and say. Also, the representatives there. Ikaw naman, Karen. Ako na yung responsable kahit hindi sa aming lalawigan. Tapos pati Metro Manila, ako na naman. Hindi naman ganun yun. Again, we are open to investigating this. In fact, Senator Bam, I believe, has filed a resolution to investigate this already. And it will be proceeded with accordingly. By the Senate for the simple reason that we are hiding nothing and we are not afraid of anything.
Okay. Now, you talked about your career a bit by saying, ngayon pa na tumanda ako. Ito pa yung akusasyon, which is a very good point. When you started, you became known as a legislator in Congress as an opposition senator, right? You spoke about corruption. And then now when you open social media and you have critics saying that accusing you of being one of the masterminds of a corrupt 2025 budget. So the accusation of corruption against you has come today. Not even when you ran for vice president, right? In the past. Hindi. Ngayon ka sinasabing corrupt senator.
What's your question, Karen?
No.
Hindi ito unang beses na sinabi yan, Karen. Ngayon lang siguro mas na-highlight dahil ako ang Senate President at naging mainit yung labanan sa Senate presidency. Usually, the Senate presidency doesn't involve criticisms against candidates running for that post. In fact, this is the first time that criticisms have been made against candidates running for the Senate presidency. This is new for me even in my long years in politics. But what is your question, Karen? I consider it par for the course. Ang importante, hindi totoo, natawag na ako ng maraming bagay sa nagdaang panahon. Most if not all of which have been disproven simply because they are not true. Yung nung sinabi ng presidenteng mahiya naman kayo, actually, I did not feel alluded to. In fact, I was one of the first who stood up and clapped. I think you would know who were the ones that took a while to stand up and clap without naming names anymore.
Okay. Then I wanted to ask you this. So,
Yes.
you are introducing a bill banning officials' relatives from serving as contractors and suppliers, right? So the intention is good. Pero ang mga
Because that is so commonplace already of late, Karen.
commonplace when it comes to congressmen having
That is so commonplace when it comes to congressmen and local officials. In fact, if I recall Senator Lacson's interview recently correctly, he actually gave a number. There are 60 or 65 members of the House who are. I'm not aware of any in the Senate who are either contractors or suppliers. It should be prohibited, Karen. It should be covered by the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act as a conflict of interest. However, the practice has always been to simply divest to the wife, divest to the son, divest to the daughter, and say they have no part in it anymore and therefore they have no conflict of interest. We're trying to stretch that up to the fourth civil degree of consanguinity and affinity, meaning to say hanggang sa first cousin. In fact, baka nga pwedeng palawigin pa. In the hope, Karen, na kung malayo-layo na at malayo na, pues wala nang control, wala nang impluensya, pwede pa nga siyang takbuhan pa siguro kung sakasakali.
Okay. Now, do you think this will make a difference considering you have word on the street saying ang hinihingi na ng politiko bago pa na itayo yung kalye ay 30% ahead daw sa actual na kontrata? I'm sure you've heard this already, Senator. Will this make a difference?
It will make a difference, Karen, kasi medyo nagbago na daw din yan eh. Kung pagkikinggan mo rin yung mga kwento-kwento, hindi na nanghihingi ang politiko. Sila na mismo ang nagpapagawa, Karen. At yan ang sinusubukang iwasan ng panukalang batas na ito. In fact, I got a text from Congressman Sandro Marcos last night, although I slept early. I saw it this morning, that he wanted to co-author that measure as well. And I happily agreed to have a counterpart version of this bill in the House.
Okay. Now, before we leave this, the House Speaker said that for the 2026 budget, you will be opening. You will make it transparent. You'll have civil society groups, stakeholders, observe, watch. How are you envisioning this, and will this make a difference?
Karen, again, let me trace back to when I was Finance Committee Chairman.
Yeah.
I opened the BICAM. That was the first time that the BICAM was also quote-unquote open. But most of the work, as you will see when the BICAM is opened, most of the work are being done by secretariat personnel reconciling figures. So when I opened it, first
In other
day,
words, you mean staff, the team.
there were
Sila
some
ang
media.
magawa.
Second day, wala nang nagpunta because it was basically computing and encoding. I'll try to describe it, Karen. The House there's the NEP. The House amended the NEP and came out with the GAB, the General Appropriations Bill. The Senate will now base its amendments on the GAB, what we got from the House. Now you have to understand, the original document is still the NEP. So when the House amended the NEP, they got from this department, that department, moved it to this department, to that department.
Mababang
When the-
kapulungan ang gumawa nun. Kumbaga, kung may korupsyon at galit kayo sa amendment, sinasabi niyo, Senator, mababang kapulungan ang gumalaw nun.
Yung unang parte, Karen, yung GAB. Now, when the Senate comes, they will review the proposal of the budget of the House through the GAB, and will base amendments on their amendments. So, kunwari, yung sweldo, ginawang ganito, kinuha dito yung
Senator, I lost you. You're on mute.
sorry, no, I'm not.
Oh, go on. Okay. Now
Dadagdagan pala o babawasan at baka sabihin namin, maling bawasan to, dapat kunin to dito, mas hindi kailangan. So when the BICAM meets, it's actually the staff who will work more often than not to try to identify where they got what and to try to reconcile asa na tayo ngayon. So usually the challenge is that the procedure is to go back to NEP, to start with the NEP all over again and trace back.
Okay.
Kung saan napunta yun. That's
So-
most of the job, Karen.
Yeah, but
Then, after it's consolidated, it'll be presented to the members of the BICAM, who will either complain, object, agree. Now, that part, that should be covered by media as well. During my time, we made it open to the public.
Okay, because you've read reports, I'm sure, that it was, alleging the small BICAM, which I asked you, where in these last minute realignments came in, and reports that former finance chairperson, committee chair, Senator Grace Poe was sidelined. She was not fully informed of the changes. She didn't know what was happening. What's your reaction to that, Senator?
It's an unfair comment, Karen, because it strikes at her competence insofar as the job is concerned. They're forgetting. Senator Grace has been a member of the Senate she graduated in fact, just last 2025. Paano yun? Yung counterpart naman niya, ano naman siya? Anghel, sobrang bait, sobrang linis at walang ginawang mali. Again, these are unfair accusations that simply don't fit the character of the persons being insinuated against. and fits more, I guess, the other characters involved in this picture.
You were one of the controversial figures nationally with this impeachment case against the vice president. First, I want to ask you, do you feel vindicated by the Supreme Court ruling, considering some have accused you of intentionally delaying the impeachment trial?
Yes, Karen, and I throw it back at them. 5 of the 11 orders of the Supreme Court to the House was actually the same order we gave to the House with respect to compliance with a 1-year ban. Alam mo kung ano nakakatawa dito sa mga kritiko ng impeachment na ito na ginawa ng Senado? Sabi nila noon, let me quote, for example, Chairman Monsod, sabi niya, walang kapangyarihan ng Senado magdesisyon tungkol sa 1-year ban. Wala silang pakialam dyan. Korte Suprema lang ang pwedeng magdesisyon kaugnay niyan. Noong nag-decide ang Supreme Court, Karen, ang panawagan ngayon ng mga taong yan, dapat Senate mag-decide, hindi ang Supreme Court. Overreach yan. The Senate can still continue. Ano ba naman yan, Karen? The rule and the law and the Constitution has to remain the same regardless of your position, regardless of who you're against, regardless of who the case is against. Pangalawa siguro, itong desisyon ng Korte Suprema tuloy pinapaniwala ako na baka naman kaya minamadalian ng Kamara. Baka kaya nagigil silang madali niyan. Ayaw antayin yung desisyon ng Korte Suprema dahil alam nilang may balljack at gustong pangunahan na agad ng Senado para sabihin na nasa gitna naman na tuloy na natin, tapusin na natin. Ano ngayon ang gagawin ng Senado pagdating nun? We will acquit or convict later on to find out that the Senate had no jurisdiction to begin with. That would have put us in a very precarious situation. That's why the exercise by the Senate, not only of myself, with abundant caution with respect to this impeachment, deciding to do it the right way, I believe was indeed vindicated by the decision of the court, which, Karen, the court said is immediately executory.
Oh, I know. So now, being a lawyer yourself, what infirmity did you spot when it reached the Senate?
What we precisely asked them in our twin orders. Number 1, compliance with the 1-year ban. We did not say they did not comply, but we wanted them to present proof that they indeed complied. And number 2, for the next Congress, this Congress, the 20th Congress, Karen, to indicate to us that they still persist or decided to push through with it. I believed, Karen, that tatawid ito sa 20th Congress. But there are 2 or 3 concurring opinions, not part of the majority opinion, Karen. 2 justices that said, hindi ito tatawid. Hanggang 19th na lang ito. So yung ikalawang order ng Senado, medyo tinatch-upan ng ilang maestrado ng Korte Suprema sa kanilang concurring opinion. Again, proving the concerns of the senators, 18 at least of us, correct and well-founded.
So what happens now? Let's move forward, no? You have the Supreme Court saying it is unconstitutional, deemed null and void, immediately executory. So being a co-equal branch of government, what happens now, Senator? What do you do with the situation?
May kulang ka, Karen. Null and void ab initio.
Yes.
And the next paragraph stated that the Senate never acquired jurisdiction over it. What will we do? As I said and as I keep on saying, tinutwist lang ng ibang kritiko ng Senado na pagbobotohan pa, konstitusyon na, may desisyon na, pagbobotohan pa. But the Senate is a collegial body. As I said in my opening speech the other day, the Senate decides everything as a collegial body. Someone will move. If someone objects, we put it to a vote. So we'll put this to a debate and vote, Karen, on a date certain on August 6. What to do with the impeachment in light of the Supreme Court decision. The choices that we discussed in caucus are varying. So it depends on what the motion will be. To
Ano yung
either
mga choices, Senator? Baka you can share without naming your colleagues. Ano yung mga choices na discuss sa caucus?
to decide on it because it's immediately executory. napag-usapan din na paano kung ma-reverse yan. May argumentong unanimous yan sa karanasan at kasaysayan, hindi nangyayaring nare-reverse yan. At kung intention talaga ng Korte Suprema hindi ito agad patupad, hindi nila nilagay yung immediately executory, pwede rin namang hintayin na mag-file muna yung House of Representatives ng recon. Pero hindi pa maliwanag yun, baka mag-antay kami sa wala. At kung inintay namin yun, kailan na naman magpapasa ang Korte Suprema? In the meantime, anong gagawin namin? Held in abeyance, postponed muna. Nung nakarang mga buwan, Karen, nagmamadali at gigil na gigil yung mga tutol kay Vice President Sara at pabor sa impeachment. Ngayon naman sila ang nangihingi ng panahon na wag daw madaliin, wag daw gawin ng Senado agad, maghintay daw muna. Again, we cannot decide based on mere whim of these partisan people who have already taken a position either for or against. I said this at the beginning of the impeachment when it was filed last February 5. Hindi ko papakinggan yung mga may pasa at desisyon na. Yung pabor kay VP Sara at ayaw sa impeachment, yung ayaw kay VP Sara at gusto sa impeachment. I will not be cowed nor bullied by these people into acting one way or the other. We will do what we think is right.
So if the Supreme Court said the Senate never acquired jurisdiction, would that mean that the whole process that the Senate took as an impeachment court was technically null and void as well? What does that mean?
Yes, Karen.
Yun.
Yes, that's why the wording of the Supreme Court was null and void ab initio. Ab initio, Latin to mean from the beginning.
So paano yun? Will it be in the records? You had senators, you took your oath, di ba? May kang proseso. What does that mean? It won't go in the records?
That will all be part of the records, Karen.
Okay.
So that the story can and will be told. The Senate is a body of record. Everything that happens, whether we reverse ourselves, reconsider what we did, everything that happens or happened will be recorded. Even our votes on August 6 will be recorded as well. I look forward to the debates actually, Karen, because during our caucus, a lot of good points were raised from both sides. Na I think we will all be wiser, more educated when it comes to the impeachment process if our people will hear the arguments, the positions, and the laws supporting either position.
Okay. Now, critics say that you intentionally shifted the burden to the Supreme Court, Senator.
I was not the one who filed the case, Karen. It was Vice President Sara and Attorney Torion, etc., who filed the case. They filed the case too, Karen. These critics that you're referring to. They filed the case for mandamus to order us to proceed. Vice President Sara, Attorney Torion et al. Filed a petition before the Supreme Court for prohibition. They both sued us. So, excuse me, hindi po kami nagsampa ng kaso sa Korte Suprema at pinasa sa kamay nila ito. Kayo po yun, yung mga magkabilang panig ng impeachment. The Senate never filed a petition before the Supreme Court.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the Senate presidency. You having 19 votes, am I correct? 19.
Yes, Karen.
19 votes. You've already, first of all, you were up against a former Senate president who is also your party mate. I mean, take me through that. Why did you both not discuss it, right? I mean, some people asked, it doesn't look good for the party itself. You and Senator Tito Soto, magkapartido kayo, ba't di kayo nag-usap?
Karen, even when I first ran, only one party mate of mine out of 4 in the Senate voted for me in the 19th Congress in May. So, ganon din to. Gusto ba nyo parang sindikato ang partido? Kami-kami lang mag-uusap at hindi yung botante? Hindi ba mas maganda na sa dulo yung botante, in this case the senators, are the ones who chose instead of choosing for them? That has been my principle ever since I entered the House actually in 1998. I'd rather that things be done on the floor than in closed doors.
Okay, so you've already announced the major committees. You have Senator Kiko Pangilinan for Agri, Bam Aquino for Education, and so on. No, Win Gatchalian for Finance, that's correct.
Yes.
No, and you have Marcoleta for the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. We're showing a list right now on your screen. So
Yes.
these have already been decided. take us through, for example, Kiko Pangilinan and Bam Aquino, which could have been in the minority, and yet you gave them juicy, powerful committees.
These are not. I don't consider committees, Karen, either juicy or non-juicy, powerful or non-powerful. There's a reason why these committees exist, and it's a question of their respective advocacies and core competence. So sa kaso, sa sitwasyon ni Senator Pangilinan, he ran on that platform. Sa sitwasyon ni Senator Bam Aquino, he ran on that platform specifically too. Sa kaso nung iba, they were former executive department officials handling those offices. So we try to make do with the available talent we have in the Senate. So it's not really a question of giving them this or that. And another thing, Karen.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you before you move.
Yes.
Newcomer, Senator Marcoleta, no, who scored very strongly in the Senate race, but he's a newcomer, and I don't think historically a newcomer's ever been given the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. No, I mean, it doesn't mean he'll do a bad job, not at all, but it's a surprise to many that a newcomer is the chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, and some have said it was your way to essentially court and win over the Duterte bloc. What are your thoughts? How did that happen?
Again, Karen, that's par for the course because I think these accusations were raised during the campaign for Senate presidency. Senator Marcoleta is not a newcomer in the Senate, perhaps, but not in the House. Nakasama ko si Senator Marcoleta nung nasa Kamara pa lamang ako. So he's been in Congress for quite some time. He's a litigator, he's a practicing lawyer, and I think neophyte or not, he will do a good job as the Blue Ribbon Committee chairperson and raise the flag of the institution through his stewardship of this committee. For me, Karen, hindi naman kapansanan ang pagiging bago eh. Hindi rin lamang yung pagiging matanda na. Pantay-pantay lang kaming lahat sa Senado, bago man o luma, matagal man o ngayon lang. We are all senators elected by the people and we have one vote each. Hindi mas maraming boto yung veterano ha. Hindi kalahating boto yung bago at bata. We all have the same votes and I think it would be unfair, to say the least, na maliitin yung kakayanan ng bago, ng bata at sabihing mas may kakayanan. Automatic yung mas nakatatanda o mas matagal nang nanilbihan.
Okay, now your colleagues, no, you have Senator Mig Zubiri, who was former Senate President. I mean, he was ousted. You have Senator Loren Legarda, Lacson Soto. These are senior senators. You've worked with them, through several Congresses, and they're now in the minority. Would you want to change the situation and have them over to join the majority? Is that possible?
No, Karen. In a democracy, you cannot dictate. In a democracy, you allow a free vote for them to decide freely. As you said yourself, the two former presidents, one of whom wanted to be the Senate president, again, decided to be in the minority, and I respect that. I look forward to working with them. I look forward to engaging them with respect to the meaningful pieces of legislation we will be discussing and passing.
Are you in speaking terms? I mean, this is quite personal, but I'm curious.
Sure.
Are you in speaking terms with Mig Zubiri and Senator Soto?
Of course. We just had coffee last night at my office after session with Senator Soto. I greeted everyone on the first day of session. But Karen, my personal life is separate from my work life. Ang huli ko yatang naging kaibigan sa Senado na kaibigan talaga sa trabaho din ay si Senator Grace. Bago nun si Senator Noynoy. Sa Kamara, kami nila Senator Joel noon. He was a work and a friend outside of the house as well. But I have very little really close friends sa trabaho. Para hiwala yon. Para yung pamilya-pamilya yung trabaho-trabaho.
Okay. As Senate President, with 3 years to go with this administration, just very quickly, what do you envision your leadership to be? What do you want to achieve in the next 3 years?
Karen, the president was elected to serve for 6 years. As far as we can, we will support his agenda and program for as long as it is in line with the Constitution, the rule of law, and what the population, what our people needs. We will stand for what is right and always oppose whatever we think or view is wrong. And we will pass meaningful legislation, not necessarily in the president's agenda, but try to shape his agenda as well through legislation. But this will not only come from me, Karen. This will come from all 24 members, kasama sa caucus to na hindi pinapansin ng media. Ano yung priority ng Senado?
Anong priority? Yun ang
Kahapon
tanong.
lang namin na pag-usapan, Karen.
Okay.
So we're finalizing it. We'll come up with it, I hope, in the next couple of days, if not by next week, trying to get the agenda, the priority, and the idea agenda.
Okay, my last question, which I missed
Yes,
during the first gap, is the fact that the president did not talk about online gaming, gambling in his speech. I want to know, as Senate President, because you would have a strong voice on this, what are your thoughts about online gambling? To ban, to regulate, ano ba?
First, on the part of the president, I think he did not talk about politics, policy, or the economy. Nakatutok lang yung speech niya sa public and social services. So siguro may ibang pagkakataon para tanungin siya tungkol dyan. 3 bills have been filed to ban online PIGO, Philippine Inland Gaming. 1 bill was filed to regulate it. I already spoke about this, Karen, when we were discussing
Many years
POGO.
ago. Oo.
When we were discussing POGO, a year ago actually, a year and a half ago. Bakit ba tayo gigil na gigil ipagbawal ang POGO habang ang nagsusugal dito yung mga dayuhan at kibit balikat tayo, tahimik tayo sa PIGO kung saan Pilipino ang nagsusugal. In fact, Karen, I saw a social media post. May pinakitang congressman habang nagsosona na nag-online sabong. Nakunan yata galing sa likod yung kanyang cellphone. Akala ko ba wala ng online sabong? Akala ko ba wala ng e-sabong? Ano yun? Saan galing yun? So the concern, Karen, is not only with respect to banning it, which I completely agree with. The concern is how to prevent the illegal side of it. Because when you ban it, it does not necessarily mean that it will go away. Matagal nang bawal magnakaw at pumatay, pero marami pa rin nagnanakaw at pumapatay, lalo na sugal. Matagal nang bawal ang isabong, bakit may ganun pa hanggang ngayon within the halls of Congress itself? So itong PIGO, itong POGO, dapat yun din ang tingnan natin. Hindi lamang ipagbawal legally, but to make sure na pag pinagbawal nga natin ay ito ay hindi magagawa illegally na baka mas rampant pa kumpara sa legal na walang regulation o zero regulation. Dahil pag illegal yan, wala nang above 18 dyan, wala nang limit yan, wala nang buwis yan. Yes,
Pero
Karen.
ang hirap, I agree with you there. Iba yung illegal, iba yung legal. But it's also building a nation of gamblers kasi piso-piso ang taya and it's attached to GCash. So I wanted to ask your thoughts on this.
Well, if we will make it illegal, Karen, at the very least, we should make it more difficult. Ang problema, there are ways to go around it. Tatayo sila ng account, magmumukhang bogus na grocery store, dun magbabayad, dun iko-course through ang payment. I mean, there are ways and ways of going about it. So again, whether you declare it legal or illegal, the question is how will you prevent it? There's a joke, Karen, for example, that some people say, when Pogo was banned, ang pumalakpak, pinakamalakas na palakpak, yung law enforcement agencies natin. Dahil sila yung pinakamatutuwa at maliligayahan doon. Dahil hawak na nila at hindi na ngayon hawak ng gobyerno yung pagkakaroon o kawalan yan. The same is true perhaps for PIGO when it happens or if it happens. So dapat tutukan natin what will be the fallout after we vote to ban it. How can we ensure that this will not go underground, that foreign-based internet companies cannot enter the Philippines and get bets. Ano yung plano ng gobyerno para doon? Dahil lahat yan, pag dineklara mong illegal, maga-underground lang. We might still be facing the same evil, but this time, all being performed underground and in the dark corners of our country outside of the light.
So it seems to me, listening to you, that you are leaning towards technically banning online gambling through phones. Kasi may online gambling, pwede ka pumunta sa isang lugar, magsugal ka, pumunta ka sa casino. But the issue we're talking about, diba, is yung nasa telepono.
Hindi lang ang telepono, Karen, pati sa mga computer shops, pati sa mga gaming shops. Hindi naman na Ragnarok o kung ano yung nilalaro ngayon, yun na yung nilalaro din ngayon eh. It would be nice to look at the data, Karen, with respect to how this is impinging on our society and what the limits are with respect to age. Kung sino yung pwedeng sumali dito.
All right. Well, on that note, Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero, I want to thank you for joining me today on Head Start. Is there anything you want to add before we go?
Wala siguro, Karen, patuloy na magtatrabaho ang inyong Senado. Patuloy kami mag-oorganisa sa mga susunod na araw. We will not allow the political noise nor the below-the-belt accusations to derail us. We will continue to be focused on our work. At the end of the day, we are confident. I am confident that the truth will always come out. And if you are social media savvy, then like me, you have been victimized also by these wrong and false accusations, which we are confident we will overcome simply because they are not true. Good morning, Karen, and good morning to our televiewers.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero.